Without a doubt, Jan Wong knows how to stir things up. For 6 years, she's skewered celebrities big and small in her column Lunch with Jan Wong.
At every critical juncture, he slept with the right person.
And you drink about 2 glasses a day,
Yeah.
right? Still?
Yeah, usually at dinner.
And for that, she was both admired and a little bit feared. She's also gutsy, covered the Tiananmen Square massacre on the ground. She smuggled sharp objects onto airplanes in the weeks after 9/11 just to test security, all of which would make you think Jan was tough, impenetrable. But all that changed in 2006. Jan covered the Dawson College shootings in Montreal for the Globe and Mail, a newspaper she'd worked at for almost 20 years. A disturbed 25-year-old named Kim Virgil had stormed the college, wounding 19 people and killing 1 person before himself. Now, in her piece, Jan wondered if Quebec's linguistic policies played a role in the killer's actions. The outcry was fast and furious. Hate mail, death threats. She was unanimously denounced in the House of Commons, and the Globe apologized for some of Jan's language. But this was just the beginning of her battle. Turns out Jan started to suffer from clinical depression, unable to function, unable to write. It turned into a 2-year struggle between her employer and her health insurer that eventually got her fired.
When I fell into a severe clinical depression, my newspaper didn't believe me. And neither did the insurance company. Manulife showed these videos to its consulting psychiatrist. He never met me. He never talked to me. He ruled I was not depressed. Then the Globe and Mail fired me.
Jan's experiences are captured in a new self-published book. It's a memoir of workplace depression called Out of the Blue.
So what I learned is it has nothing to do with strength or weakness.
Please welcome to the show, Jan Wong. Nice to see you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
This is quite a book to write, quite a story to tell.
Yeah, it was hard. It was my hardest book.
It's almost like a workplace divorce book, I've heard it
Oh,
written as.
yeah. McLean said that. I thought they said it was a new genre.
That's right.
I thought it was a good description. Yeah, workplace divorce.
And so here you are trying to essentially document and share the story of depression in the workplace, and it's, I suppose, a pretty common thing for a lot of people, right?
Well, depression is 1 in every 5 people, and twice as many women as men. So it's very common.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think we, human beings, live in a very stressful environment, and work has a lot to do with it, but it can be anything. I mean, many things can cause depression. It can be chemical, it can be genetic, and for people like me, it was the workplace. And, you know, it's the workplace divorce. It's because I was in love with my workplace.
You know, it's interesting, the life of a journalist, especially the kind of... Would you characterize some of your stuff as provocative? Are you a provocateur?
Oh, no.
You don't think so? Of course you are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think that,
definitely.
that writing that way and being able to be a journalist that way affected people's ability to believe you?
Yes. They didn't believe me because, first of all, I dish it out. And secondly, I'm so tough, right? And I am tough. But they didn't realize that it really has nothing to do with your toughness of personality.
What does tough mean to you?
It means that you're not afraid of strife or conflict. You're not afraid of, you know, shouting a question out at a press conference that you know will either be construed as really stupid, but actually the answer is interesting, or a tough question. You're not afraid of going for the jugular, right?
Would you...
That's tough.
When you were going through the situation at work, there's conflict there. You were okay with it, you think?
Yeah.
For a while? Do you think that maybe that all the stuff that it triggered was your body telling you you're not okay with it?
It wasn't conflict or strife. What it was betrayal. You see,
betrayed.
I was betrayed. I was betrayed. I gave everything I could to the Globe and Mail and the story. And then when we got this backlash, and I often get backlash, and that's okay. But I've never been hung out to dry like that. I've never been sort of shoved outside the fort like everybody's throwing, you know, rotten fruit at us, and they open up the door and shove me out and go, it was her. And I really felt betrayed by that. But the worst betrayal was when I sent my sick note, and there was all this doubt about whether I was sick, because I only have my integrity as a journalist. I don't have any skills like a carpenter or a plumber. I just have integrity. And they didn't believe me, and I was just, it broke my heart.
In the letter that I read after the criticism, because there was an implication that you made a racist comment about Quebecers, right?
It wasn't racist.
No,
How was...
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
People made that, that's what
Well, let's just talk about it then.
no.
Pure Len.
Yeah, but
Did I make that phrase up? What's Pure Land?
No, you didn't. But I'm saying
See,
that.
I like strife and conflict. Let's have a big fight here.
Yes, but but listen, I figured out.
Okay.
I figured out what conflict is. No, what I'm saying is, so that was the perception.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you intended,
Yeah.
irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
just it's how it was perceived.
Okay. Can I just say
Yes.
that I don't think it's racist for me to say Pure Land is a phrase that's acceptable in Quebec, and Pure Land means pure blood. That's all I said.
Right. I know. But what I'm saying is it was perceived as such.
Yes, it was.
And so what your newspaper said in response was, we don't agree with that. But they also said you were a great journalist, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but I was already too far gone to see the praise.
But it was in there.
Yeah, it was in there, but I was too far gone. I told you my perceptions changed. But you see, they're not allowed to do that because they published the story, they edited it, and they published it.
So you're saying that what they did was not own up to their role?
Yeah, we have a deal in the newsroom. It's not in writing. And the deal is we want you to go to New York City within hours of the Twin Towers being demolished. We want you to run there. We didn't know at that time whether there would be any more terrorist attacks, but I go.
Right.
Every journalist they sent went. They all go. We all go. So the deal is, if you publish it, don't turn around and say, it was her. We had nothing to do with it. That's just not, that's not on. And you can do that, but I feel bad. So I'm allowed to feel bad, right? I feel betrayed.
Do you think that changes the way people can approach journalism?
No, because this was an aberration. This isn't normal.
But if this is a story that you're going through, can you be a journalist about it?
No, it's very hard. And especially if you have memory problems and your perceptions are skewed, and I write about that in the book.
Or anger or disappointment, so people people just won't
everything.
take you seriously because they'll think you just have an axe to grind.
Right. So it's very hard to write. This was the hardest book because I don't want it to be I have an axe to grind, what you're saying. I want it to open the conversation on workplace depression. And so, and by the time I finished, I had healed. So I am able to say the Globe and Mail is a great newspaper. It's not a great corporation if you work there. It's a great newspaper. They have great journalists.
That's been your experience, it is
Yes.
not. I'm sure there might be others who think it is.
I think it's a wonderful paper.
So what have you learned about yourself through this whole experience?
Well, I've learned that I'm really pig-headed and really stubborn. And I learned that I have really good...
Isn't that what people said about you when they read your articles?
Yeah, but I didn't know how pig-headed. I mean, really, I was just never going to give up. I've learned that I have a wonderful family, not just my nuclear family, my two boys, Ben and Sam, and my husband, Norman, my sister. My sister was there for me.
You teach journalism now, right?
Yeah, I love it.
How's that going?
Well, I teach at St. Thomas University in Fredericton, and my students were so thrilled when they Googled me and found out I'd been on your show years ago. It's like they didn't care about me until then.
The kids are all right. The kids are all right.
They love you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so I teach these undergraduates in journalism, and they're children of fishermen and mill workers and soldiers and policemen. It's different from Toronto.
What do they make of your story? What do they make of the fact that, you have this controversial relationship with the big newspaper and this is where you are now?
I think they're interested, and I use it in my teaching because, many, many university students suffer depression. So in the class, I talk about it. I say, okay, so 1 in 5 of you probably are going to have problems. You're away from home, you're homesick, you're letting your work slip and your marks are slipping. And I said, you can come and talk to me anytime, but you don't have to talk to me. There's a system at university. You can go and get help.
I think part of the reasons why maybe certain corporations have challenges dealing with patients suffering from depression or other mental health issues is just because society as a whole does. We're really new at talking about mental health, and we're just in the nascent stages of this.
That's right, and I think it's the last taboo. It's the only thing people feel embarrassed talking about. And I hope that we will change. I hope this starts a dialogue. I know that it's embarrassing for me to talk about having clinical depression, and people think, you think I'm still on it, and you're a little afraid to ask if I'm still taking antidepressants. And we feel like we can congratulate ourselves because we're not on antidepressants. No, it's just medicine. It's just medicine. And if you need it, take it. If you don't need it, don't take it. There's no congratulations. And I think the more we talk about it, the better.
The book is called Out of the Blue. It's a memoir of workplace depression, but also recovery, redemption, and yes, happiness. It's nice to see you again, Jan. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here.
Jan Wong, everybody. We'll be right back.